My biggest concern is that we understand the wisdom of these old words from the Indian Vedas. The whole world is one family. Because if you take that spirit, there is no issue humanity cannot resolve. Whether it's peace, whether it's environment, whether it's bringing everyone out of poverty, whether it's trade, we can achieve everything, control technology, if we just stick together. If we allow someone to divide us, to create wars and conflicts, we will not be able to achieve what people expect from us. So I think this is the ultimate wisdom. The whole world is one family.
Absolutely, Erik, you said it right. That broad-mindedness or that awareness we need to create in the public. Say, come on, let's see beyond our race, religion, gender, and political affinities, and see a bigger human goodness. And what is that we can do collectively to help each other? These are the trends that need to come up. And I see it coming up quite a bit. When I said, let's all commit ourselves and express that we do stand for peace. It's hidden in everybody. Everyone wants peace. But we have to be more vocal. Often what happens, people who have negative mindset, though they are very small in number, their voices are very strong and they become more active. But people who love peace, who want harmony in the world, their voices need to be heard loud.
And what can we do to make the voice of the peace lovers more loud? We worked together in the peace process in Sri Lanka, and I think you will recall as well as me that some of the people who were haters on each side, they were the vocal people. They got the voice, they got the media attention, while the vast majority of Sri Lankans who were peace-loving people who had no desire except to live in peace and to live together, Tamils and Sinhalese and Muslims, they were not given the same voice.
Yeah, this is exactly why I started this campaign, We Stand for Peace. When all the peace-loving, good people stand up and say, I love peace, I stand for peace, it can change the energy in the whole atmosphere. It can change the negativity into something positive, especially after the pandemic. And this war and economic downtrend caused a lot of hopelessness in people. So when you feel so helpless and hopeless, we don't know what to do, if we all say we stand up for peace, it somehow empowers an individual. It empowers a collective consciousness in society. So collectively we all say, yeah, I stand up for peace. I'm sure it will change the whole atmosphere.
I think this is absolutely critical because we need people who really stand up for peace, are loud, and are not seen as naive. Because there's nothing naive going for peace. To the contrary, wars very, very rarely serve any purpose. Nearly all wars are much more costly, much more protracted, much more difficult to stop than those who start them.
And causes only destruction.
Exactly. And the costs are enormously much bigger than their potential benefit. I mean, of course, now we have the war in Ukraine. In all likelihood, Putin miscalculated everything, thought it would be a short war. But he's not alone.
No.
The United States has started a number of wars in the last decades. All of them they ended with defeat. Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. In the beginning, they were very popular. People thought this would be great. And at the end, nothing was achieved except enormous destruction.
Enormous destruction and pain and suffering inflicted on generations together. People are still to get over this pain in Afghanistan. There are 3-4 generations they have been fighting. The current generation, they know nothing but war. From people who are 20, 21 year old today, they have seen only war in their whole life. So we need to give a different twist to this whole thinking. To war cannot achieve anything in reality.
Or let's together defeat the idea that it's naive to go for peace.
Correct.
It's creating wars, which is enormous destruction, resolve nothing, That's, and of course it's ethically wrong, but it's also irrational, because very, very rarely a war achieved the people starting the war believe they can achieve. So there's peace, which is the realistic solution, not naivety.
It's not naive. You said it right. Some people think it's not practical. Why you are talking about peace when there is aggression or when there is suppression that's happening? I feel there is a lot more energy when all the people, the general population, who are generally positive, mostly positive, they all unite and say, we stand for peace. I stand for peace. I think it can remove this aggressiveness and depression. These are two trends that are set in society, especially after pandemic. What I see is enormous mental pressure, right from school children. They couldn't go out and play their soccer, and they couldn't go out and hang around like they used to do before. And all this tension, the pent-up anger in them. Now on top of it, this war is causing such a negative vibes. So they want to do something, and here if they come up and just stand for peace and change the whole attitude, I think it can bring quite a bit of relief to people.
I think it's also very interesting that scientists now more and more come up with a different perspective, because the old idea, at least what I learned in school, the Darwin perspective, was that the strongest will survive. But what is to be strong? To be strong is to be able to work with others, because the community is strong. And you now hear more and more voices from scientists saying that the reasons why humans are in many ways the strongest species on Earth is because we have the ability to work together.
They work together,
We could work together in bigger groups because of our language and because of our ability to work together. And those who had the greatest ability to work together were those who survived. And for sure, to take humanity into numerous centuries into the future, our survival will be dependent on our ability to work together.
Absolutely. And the mental strength is more important. I would like to add here, if you're strong inside, your mind is strong. Strong in the sense not the mind which is not agitated or aggressive. Agitated and aggressive minds are, I don't consider them very strong. A calm, collective mind is very strong mind. A strong mind can take along a weak body, but not the other way around. So mental health is a very important thing in these days. Unfortunately, there is a lot of taboo about mental health. People don't acknowledge that they are mentally weak, though they are. At the drop of a hat, they flare up. That doesn't show their inner strength. People who get agitated very quickly and become unreasonable, uncommunicable. Many times people don't communicate properly. All this, I take it as a sign of lack of inner power, inner strength. So it is time that people look inward and see how strong they are mentally, how broad their visions are, how much foresight they have, into future of humanity. I think these are very important issues. And luckily, today with technology, young people are so much interested in all this. They are interested in meditation, mindfulness. They are interested in, yoga, and they are interested in communicating with each other more across the borders. I think that is one good sign, I would say. Even social media, as you will see, quite a bit of positive news keeps floating around. I would say your mind is something that you need to keep attending to. I would call it a mental hygiene, like you have dental hygiene. Mental hygiene. Every day, do some deep breaths. Long, deep breathing exercises would help you. And think life from a bigger perspective. See, how long are you going to be on this planet? Say 80 years, 90 years, 100 years? And what do you want to do in these 100 years? How would you like to be useful to everybody around you? When you think on these lines and then have a say over your own emotions, which I say you can do it by just a little bit of meditation and breathing technique, it makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. That try to find your inner love. Love for others. As Jesus Christ said, to love your friends, that's the easy part. To love your family. What's difficult is to love your enemies, the people who you may not really like. But look into how you can find some love, at least some respect for them. And in Indian context, Gandhiji, what did he do? He respected his opponents. He fought hard for independence of India against the British colonialists, but he tried to respect them, maybe even in some cases some love for them. So look into how you can find your inner love for also your opponents and the people you disagree with.
As we have you here, maybe you could also, that goes to you. You have worked with so many international key stakeholders to build peace. Where do you see the role of Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar in today's context?
I think it's absolutely critical to have voices of moral clarity coming from outside. Political leaders have so many different aspects to their lives, and even the best of them cannot be Jesus Christ or Buddha or a guru because of all the different demands upon them. And some of the people who really did good stuff also had many negative aspects to their personality. So we desperately need moral people who can speak the moral language, engage with people, and I think that's the critical role. And it's all about reaching out to others, because to find harmony in your own small group, that's the easy part. But to reach out to others, to other nations, to other religions, to other faith, other ideas, and to find compromise with them. We're working in different peace processes together. To me, the word compromise was so important, because people said, oh, I was so great, I didn't compromise at all. Compromise is a beautiful word, because you compromise in the family, in a small sports club, not to speak about nations or the global society. We need compromise. So to be that voice, that ethical voice, that powerful voice for people is so important. So please continue that work.
Erik has done so much, always been available for people of both sides, and meeting with, I know about Sri Lanka, I know about Nepal, the role you have played in Nepal. Also when the transition was happening there, I think we all stand for peace. Basically that's it. And we have been quite active, and we continue to be active. I suppose. It's in our nature. What do we do? We can't, but when there is a conflict happening around the corner, we can't just sit quiet. We have to plunge into action, and I would welcome every single individual. Don't think you are powerless, you can't do something. Let's all say, I stand up for peace and commit, and spread this voice of positivity and hope to people all around you. And by this, we can definitely make a difference, reduce the negativity that is there in the atmosphere, and create more hope and possibilities for future. Namaste.